Good morning. It's 6:30. I wish I just got out of bed, but I'm already at the race venue. Aitana Tour starts today. I got up at like 4:40 roughly to get here and to have breakfast before. And now, I'm at the venue. The start is in 1 hour. I've just parked. It's still quite early to get like nice spots, so arriving about an hour before the start is just perfect. So now I'm going to change and I'm going to just go to the start and see what's happening. That's the venue. First things first, I need to find a bathroom, just because that usually takes the longest. Raspberry right pocket. I have an entry into the priority box. Which means I'll start in the front.
Voy a salir al baño, ¿vale? No te preocupes.
And here we go. This is the start of the race, and the moment where it's better to not rush. So the exit out of the starting box is not very wide, and as we go, we get through the first town, and you can see that it's quite packed. So basically, as we have started, the race is neutralized, and we're going behind a car where they are filming us. They're controlling the speed, which it's very different, because actually the beginning of the race this time goes mostly downhill, and over that downhill section we are neutralized and we are going quite slow. So over the first 30 minutes of the ride we actually averaged about 20 kilometers per hour. This was the first of these downhill sections where the car went a little bit further, but then as we start to climb it gets easier, because at least the very first riders can go quite strong, and we're just finding our pace through the bunch. You can see that actually the riders are not very happy, because we're going almost to a full stop with such a big crowd. After at least between the towns we get to go a little bit faster. It's quite nice in terms of the control of at least how fast we're going over these intersections. So there's it is very safe, and one thing that I can say is that I didn't see anyone fall, because we were going relatively slow, and there's always time to turn around this to turn around through the roundabouts and any of the blocking sections. So finally, half an hour in, we started to climb, and you can see that everyone is riding away from me, which makes perfect sense. There's I think at this moment we still have about 140 kilometers to go, and we did no climbing whatsoever. So this is the first uphill section that we're going up towards the Finistrat from La Nucia, which is actually one of my favorite climbs. It's a little bit further from home, so I don't ride it very often, but it is just very nice. It has very nice views. On the right side we are riding along some sort of a gorge that's there's probably supposed to be like a river there, but of course right now there's nothing. And so it's not very steep. We're going up, but then there's some sections that are a little bit easier, a little bit faster. And then we climb again. So I'm trying to go moderately easy on these sections, because this is not a timed climb. This is still the beginning of the ride, where we are just getting towards the start of the climb for Tudons. And yeah, as soon as we start going downhill, I'm not a great descender, but I think I'm okay. And yeah, as soon as we start going downhill, I'm getting stuck with traffic, with all the people, and there is a car in front that basically does not allow anyone to spread more and to go faster, which I think this was one of the factors that allowed them to actually give us the closed roads throughout the route, which is it's a big thing, because it is basically a 160 kilometers one lap that felt like a closed road for us. And this is one of the nicer downhill sections towards yeah, I think we have passed Finisterre already, and this is more towards towards the next towns. So this is a longer straight downhill section that goes up until like a short and steep climb, but yeah, the views are just very nice. And right in front, I bumped into this girl that had actually music playing out of her back pocket, which helped a lot in the climbs in this bit, especially that she was very, very strong, and I actually had to let her go a few times. And this is where we're coming towards, there would be a turn on the left that can go to a town called Rieu, which is usually our way home, and right in front we're going towards Tudons. Again, super nice views, and we're yet to start the first climb. So yeah, as we go, the bunch is just it doesn't get to spread because we're being collected. And now we're in a town called Seia, which is right before Tudons. On the right side, guys are getting some water from just from some source on the wall, but everyone's joking that it's the first feed station, but it's not it. The first one is right now on the right. No one is stopping here because we're, I think, about an hour into the ride, maybe a little bit less, and they have only water here. Basically, if you have 2 bottles, most likely you haven't yet spent them, because the ride started at 7:30, and although it's a hot day, it's not a super hot day, so it's manageable in the morning at least. And here we are starting the first time climb towards Tudons. Looking at the Strava segment, I did it in about 55 minutes. I don't remember the official result of what they actually timed, but yeah, so there's a short, fast downhill section where for some reason many people just don't pedal downhill and go slower than they could. But yeah, this is just the very beginning before we start the long climb that goes around 5% average, I would say. Sometimes it goes up to maybe 9-10, so there's nothing crazy on this ride. Like, all of the climbs are very, very steady, and some of them are long as this one almost, but Tudons is the biggest one to go up. Having this rattling sound on my aero bars, and I think it's just the cable in the beginning. So right now you can see one of the few steepest section that we actually have on the route, so just these almost U-turns, and if you go around it a little bit wider, it's much easier to pass them, and then it goes down to maybe about 8-7%, so it gets easier again. And then as we turn the views are just amazing. And one of the great features about this climb is that there's actually a lot of shade. So even on a very hot summer day, it's actually not that bad to ride. So yeah, I think this is this is about a couple of kilometers up. This is an interesting guide on the left that I just wanted to record. This is a person riding a gravel bike. This is the Canyon Grail CFR, so the very top of the range model, turned into one by. And looking back, I think he might have had a better experience on the ride, because first of all, his bike is actually half a kilogram lighter than my road bike. But then also on the gravel tires, if he goes not as fast on the descents, which are neutralized, maybe he doesn't have to brake as much. So we're at the top of Tudons, and we're going into the first feed station. And what turns out right here is that it's actually, again, it's neutralized, and at the moment the ride is stopped. So there is a little bit music as entertainment, and then there is a lot of food, drinks, and basically anything you can get. So I had some sandwiches with ham and cheese. I got some isotonic drink. I got some water, and and then we're ready to go. And I was ready with everything before we started, so I didn't really waste any time, and I went on as quickly as we could. So we were riding down the Tudons, and you can actually hear and see that this is the worst of the routes from Tudons down. So although there's no potholes, the quality of the tarmac is actually quite bad, so it just shakes the bike all the time on all the way down. And this descent, I think, actually broke my mount on the aero bars for the my mount for the bike computer. So when I arrived to Guadalest, I saw that it's actually rattling along and it's not holding up. So I had to stick some masking tape that I had on my bike, and just to hold it in place more firmly. But then I had it broke down completely and replace it. So this was the first time after the descent from Tudons where I saw that we actually are riding kind of like a small group. So we're going fast and we're going together, not as a huge peloton, but we actually can turn the pedals a little bit. And the next climb that we were getting towards was up to Confrides. This was on the shorter side. I think it was within 5 kilometers or so, and again 4 or 5%. But now it's going to be probably the most beautiful and fast descent of the day, which I will just keep silent for the sake of it. and we're getting neutralized once again. So there is a car once again in front, and we're just getting together. On the left, you can see a castle on the top of kind of a huge rock, and yeah, everyone's shouting just to be careful. We are stopping at Guadalest. This was probably the longest stop so far. So I got to drink, I got to eat, do it again, and then we're descending. So this is the descent from Guadalest towards the sea. I think it's one of the very, very, very nice ones. There's nothing particularly sketchy, nothing super fast about it. It's just a very nice road that twists a little bit, and the views are just amazing, and you get a chance to enjoy them without just looking at the road ahead. But but being probably on a slightly faster side right now in terms of descending, I was just going too close with everyone, and I had to brake so much that by the end of the day I was thinking that I might need to replace my brake pads. So we're back to Callosa and Sarria, I think it's called. So this is the town where we started the event, and we are 90k in, and I think we have climbed about 1800 meters so far. So we have 70 to go, and everyone who is doing a medio fondo, which is the shorter distance, they are turning to the finish. So we are about 3.5 hours in, and this is roughly as fast as you can get through the medio fondo, I think, because of all the neutralization. So there is no way to actually go any faster in front of the car. So if you're going for the middle distance, you need to count on 3.5 hours and more, depending on how fast you are. So right before the next longer climb, we get collected again into the group. Then there is a shorter downhill section before we start climbing towards Secreveta, which is, again, I think that these are the greatest climbs and roads in the area. They are so nice. They're quite green. When Alicante is like a desert, it is quite green there, because there's a lot more pine sort of trees. And this is why I think that Aitana Tour is an amazing way to explore the area. So if you haven't actually ridden here, this is a perfect event that covers kind of all of it, because if you're going through some of the Gran fondos, some are a little bit shorter, some cover part of this distance, but this is a way to enjoy it without racing it. So now we're going closer towards Tarbena, which is a town at the top of the climb, and the timed section of Secreveta is not going actually towards the very, very top of it. So actually it stops a little bit further than Tarbena, and then there is I think it's just a convenient place to organize just a food stop. There's this gravel concrete type of parking area where it's just a very convenient spot to organize a gathering of such a crowd like we are. So once again, I was refilling my bottles on every single stop, and I think that was, I wouldn't want more, but then also I wouldn't take any less. So I took 2 bottles with me, and then I refilled them, I think 4 times fully. So I think I drank about 7 liters of fluid throughout the ride, not counting calories. So after we finish the stop, there's actually a little bit to go uphill still towards the actual Secreveta, and right now you can see it further at the top. So yeah, so this is why the timing works this way here, I think, is that there's a convenient place to organize a stop, and then we actually need to climb a little bit before descending further on the other side, and before we climb the last part, which is called the Ratas. But yeah, actually I don't have any footage of it, so yeah, my camera was already almost finished. So this is the last section of the yeah, of part of the descent that we're going through. You can see how green it is. So it's on the north side of the hills or mountains, so I think because there's a little bit more shade and it is usually cooler, this is why, yeah, everything is just a little bit more greener and a little bit cooler, especially in the colder months here. I'm done. That was very hard. On the last climb, my computer showed that it was around plus 36, 38 degrees, and it was very tough. I do need to recover, and then I will recap everything and see what footage do I have, because I think that the GoPro died before the last climb, which is maybe okay, because the last climb was where I actually did not have anything left and I just went as I could go. So overall, my computer says 157k, 3.1 thousand meters of climbing, which now is not the biggest and longest. It's roughly the same as last year, but it was actually slower last year, although I went a lot harder. But I will tell about that when I recover. It's been a week, and I think it's good time to reflect on how the race actually went, and yeah, just give some overall thoughts about the event. So what can I say? I think Aitana Tour it's an amazing event. If you're going there with friends, with someone that you would ride together, this is just amazing experience. All the feed stations are full, so you could go almost with empty pockets and only have some nutrition for the first couple of hours, and then you're totally covered. I had so much left of what I took with me. Yeah, it's just insane. So if you're afraid of such distance and it's a challenge for you, and you're planning to just yeah, hit like 150, 160 kilometers for the first time, this is amazing, because you're covered. It's yeah, it's neutralized. You have the closed roads. You have an amazing challenge in terms of elevation, over 3,000 meters of climbing. That's a lot. That's a huge event with very good organization. Where I think it doesn't fit is if you're a strong cyclist, and one more thing. If you've never ridden here, I think this is also an amazing travel type of experience where you get to see a lot of Costa Blanca and all the epic climbs here. So I think this is an amazing tour around the roads here. But coming back, if you're a strong cyclist and you want to race it, then it's not a race. It technically is. You can race up the climbs, but then on the descents you need to be ready and understand that this is not a race. As you saw before, I'm not a super strong cyclist, and I'm an okay descender, but not great. But I was stuck in traffic all day long, at least until the last maybe 30% of the ride, where the strong group with neutralization went forward. But I was standing
for about 40-45 minutes overall across the ride. On the feed stations, on the neutralization, I was riding very slow on the descent, and my front brake pads, I think they're almost cooked and worn out because I was riding and braking on all the descents with this huge group. So I've been riding this bike for maybe 2,500 kilometers so far, and I think it's time to replace the front brake pads. Maybe another month will do, but in a month I'm going to Pyrenees, and I'm planning to ride all the crazy rides there. A few of the big epic climbs, Tourmalet, the Luz Ardiden, Autocam, so a few of the cool climbs, and I want to have fresh brake pads, but we're gonna talk about that later. Anyway, Aitana Tour, highly recommended event, but it's not a race, keep that in mind. But it's very, very tough. So it took me almost 7 hours. I got completely smashed by the end of it, but I did ride the climbs quite hard and got my Strava PRs on all of them except for the last Calderatas. And yeah, so today I'm going for a first workout. I need to put my camera back just so that I can brake. So today is my first training day where I'm trying to do some actual effort. We'll see if I can manage it. Some zone 4 intervals and then a run off. But yeah, see you later. I think I will take a break from doing videos unless I see some epic places. Subscribe.